Before the first breath, before the first heartbeat, before the first conscious thought, there was an identity, not earned, not achieved, simply spoken into being. And in that single moment, the entire architecture of human psychology was forever shaped by a paradox most of us spend our entire lives trying to resolve. We were someone before we did anything. How does a mind reconcile worth that precedes performance? How does consciousness itself begin when value is assigned before awareness even exists? Picture the sixth day. The earth is young, raw, and trembling with new life. Oceans crash against fresh coastlines. Forests exhale their first oxygen. Creatures of every kind move across landscapes still settling into form. The air itself seems to hum with potential, thick with the scent of wet soil and living things finding their rhythm. Everything that exists has been called forth from nothing, shaped by divine intention into something tangible, something real. But something is missing. The Creator surveys this world, teeming with beauty and complexity, and recognizes an absence, not a flaw in design, but an incompleteness of purpose. Then, in the divine council, words are spoken that will echo through every generation of human consciousness. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Not as an afterthought, not as a functional addition to complete an ecosystem, but as the culmination. The image bearer, the one creature who would carry within their very being a reflection of the divine. Before the dust is even gathered, the identity is declared. Before the form takes shape, the worth is established. But here's where the human story begins with a tension we rarely acknowledge. The first human doesn't wake up to discover their purpose. They wake up with their purpose already defined. They don't climb a hierarchy to earn their place. They're placed at the top. They don't achieve significance through action. They're significant before their first action. This inverts everything our modern minds believe about identity formation. We're taught that we become who we are through what we do. Achievement equals identity. Performance equals value. Yet the biblical account suggests something far more unsettling. Identity precedes everything. The Creator bends down. His hands gather dust from the ground, the same earth that nourishes the trees, the same soil where animals leave their tracks. There's an intimacy here that doesn't exist in the creation of anything else. The sun was spoken into existence. The mountains commanded into form. But humanity? Humanity is formed, shaped, molded with intentionality that suggests relationship, not just function. The dust clings to divine fingers, grains of earth pressed together, taking shape, becoming something that has never existed before. A form emerges, perfect in design, but still lifeless. A body without animation, potential without consciousness. Then comes the moment that changes everything. The Creator breathes into this form, and the breath of life enters human nostrils. This isn't ordinary air. This is divine breath, the same creative force that hovered over the waters in the beginning. And in that instant, the man becomes a living being. Eyes open for the first time. Lungs expand with their first intake of oxygen. A heart begins its rhythm. But more than biological systems activating, something else ignites. Consciousness, self-awareness, the capacity to know that you know. Imagine the psychological weight of that first moment of awareness. You open your eyes, and you don't remember being born because you weren't born in the traditional sense. You were made. You have no childhood memories to reference, no gradual development of self-concept. You simply are, fully formed, fully adult. And somehow, inexplicably, you already possess knowledge you didn't learn. You can name things you've never seen before. You understand language you were never taught. Your identity isn't something you're searching for. It's something you already possess, embedded in your very design. This creates a psychological foundation completely foreign to our experience. We spend years, sometimes decades, trying to figure out who we are. We define ourselves by our accomplishments, our failures, our relationships, our careers. We build our sense of self through accumulated experiences, through trial and error, through the slow construction of identity brick by brick. But Adam's experience is the opposite. He doesn't build his identity, he receives it. He doesn't discover his worth. It's assigned to him. He doesn't earn his place in creation. He's given dominion before he's done anything to deserve it. The Creator walks with him through the garden in the cool of the day. Not as a distant deity observing from afar, but as someone present, engaged, relational. And in these moments, something profound is being established in human psychology. Worth that isn't contingent on output, value that isn't measured by productivity, identity that exists independently of achievement. Adam hasn't accomplished anything yet. He hasn't built anything, conquered anything, proven anything. Yet he's already significant, already valuable, already seen. If you're finding yourself drawn to these deeper psychological layers beneath familiar biblical stories, consider subscribing and letting us know with a like. These narratives hold patterns of human experience that resonate across millennia, and exploring them together reveals something profound about how we're all wired. But there's something else happening beneath the surface, a subtle dissonance that will eventually crack open into the first human crisis. Adam is given a task: name the animals, exercise dominion, cultivate the garden. And here's where identity and performance begin their complicated dance. Because while his worth precedes his work still matters. He's not created to be passive. He's given responsibility, authority, creative agency. He's meant to shape, to name, to order creation. His identity isn't based on these actions, but his identity expresses itself through these actions. This is the tension every human being inherits. We're not what we do, but what we do reveals who we are. Our value doesn't come from our performance, but our performance flows from our value. It's a distinction most people never grasp, and the confusion creates the majority of psychological suffering we experience. We either collapse into passivity, believing that if our identity isn't based on achievement, then achievement doesn't matter, or we spiral into drivenness, believing that if achievement matters, then our identity must be based on it. Adam stands in the garden, surrounded by abundance he didn't create, holding authority he didn't earn, carrying an identity he didn't construct. The earth beneath his feet is rich and fertile. The trees around him are heavy with fruit. The animals respond to his voice. Everything is provided. Everything is good. And yet, woven into this perfection is the seed of every existential question humanity will ever ask. If I'm already complete, why do I need to do anything? If I'm already valuable, why does my work matter? If my identity precedes my performance, what happens when I perform poorly? The text says, God saw everything he had made, and it was very good. Not just functional, not just adequate, very good. And humanity is the crown of that goodness, the pinnacle of divine creative expression. But very good doesn't mean finished. It means rightly ordered. It means aligned with purpose. And here's what makes the creation of man psychologically revolutionary. Purpose is given before the capacity to fulfill it is tested. In ancient Near Eastern cultures, identity was inseparable from function. You were what you did. Your name often reflected your occupation. Your worth was measured by your productivity, your status, your achievement. But Genesis presents something radically different. It presents identity as ontological, not functional. You are someone because you exist as an image bearer, not because of what you produce or achieve. This was a psychologically subversive idea then, and it remains subversive now. We live in a world obsessed with metrics, followers, likes, income, titles, achievements, resume. We curate our identities through carefully selected accomplishments, desperately hoping that if we do enough, achieve enough, become enough, we'll finally feel like enough. We've reversed the order. We're trying to earn an identity that, according to the creation account, was supposed to be freely given. We're performing for worth that was supposed to precede performance. The first human opens his eyes to a world that declares his value before he's contributed anything to it. He breathes air he didn't create. He stands on ground he didn't form. He's loved before he's lovable, significant before he's accomplished anything significant. And in that reality lies both the deepest comfort and the deepest challenge of human existence. You don't have to earn your place, but you also can't hide behind your performance. Because here's what identity before performance ultimately means. It means you can't blame your failures on your worth. It means you can't credit your successes to your value. It means that who you are exists in a space beyond what you do, which is simultaneously liberating and terrifying. It's liberating because it means your worst day doesn't define you. It's terrifying because it means your best day doesn't save you. The man stands in the garden, dust made sacred by divine breath, and the entire human experiment begins not with striving, but with receiving. Not with earning, but with being. Not with performance, but with presence. And every psychological struggle that follows, every crisis of identity, every anxiety about worth, every drive to prove ourselves, all of it traces back to this single moment when value was assigned before it could be achieved. We're still trying to figure out what to do with that gift.